This is the 1988 state championships. We're in Banquet. So we're having it on the 27th of March 1988.
Have your attention, please. We have quite a program lined up for you, but I do want to say this time. We'll tell you about how we're going to go through the lines, but before we do that, I'd like to introduce to you a former football player here at Pikeville High School, an all-around athlete, and a fine student as well, Bill Baird, who will give us a little welcome and also the invocation.
To our guests, Coach Clavin and Coach Barber, this time let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. It makes us thankful for the gift of life. Thank you for the game of football, for all the lessons of life that it teaches us. Thank you for each person that participated with our team this year, for all the blessings that you bestowed upon this team this year, for keeping it safe and free from injuries, for the lessons that you taught each person involved. We thank you for this food that was prepared for us and all those who worked to make this afternoon of celebration and joy a reality. We thank you that this is the day that you have made, that you tell us to rejoice and be glad in. So help us to do this afternoon. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Here's how we go through it. There's always someone got to be last. It's not going to be me. We will start at the head table, and we'll go through this first story here.
It got blurry on me. You always want to thank the cheerleaders, Coach Jeannie Stone, the director of the cheerleader squad, and I'm sure Coach Howard and his coaching staff would also like to thank Steve Rice and the band, the part they played in this, and many other people. It's just too numerous to mention. But it takes a town, a student body, to give support to a team. Sometimes it might make the extra difference, although this team last year didn't need too much motivation, or they didn't need that little edge, but sometimes the support of a town or a band or a cheerleading squad or student body is enough to make the difference in winning or losing. At this time, I'd also like to introduce the fine coaching staff at Pikeville High School. I'd like to introduce the assistant coach, the headline coach, Joe Mayhem. Joe? Next, but not least, I'd like to introduce the guy that had the nerve when I was on radio broadcasting a basketball game in the gym here one night. He was keeping a clock, and he had the nerve to reach down and unplug me right in the middle of the ball game. Bill O'Hara, defensive coordinator. Also, a guy that came to us this year has done a heck of a job in other areas besides working with the varsity. He worked some with the junior varsity and so forth. Larry Belcher. The next coach I introduced has a little presentation he wants to make, something I think you'll really be interested in, a film clip that, what I understand, is really something. So if the worked with the defensive backs, offensive backs, he worked all over the field, keynote tribute.
The Booster Club this year will be selling a videotape highlight film that will be highlights from 13 of our games this year. These highlights will be put to music. We're working with WPRG-TV in Harold, Kentucky to put it on 3/4-inch tape, which increases the quality. And then when you purchase a tape, it'll be taken off 3/4-inch tape and put on a VCR tape, of course, and it'll ensure you that you'll have a first tape. It will be sold for $30. The applications are on the table back there if you wish to order one for your parents or your grandparents, whoever wishes to order one. They can contact me here at Pikeville High School, or they can contact Kelly Brown, Booster Club President. The money that will be made from these tapes will be used to send the 88-89 football team to football camp. So it's an investment as well as an entertainment tape. This is an example. This is just an example of what the tape will be like. There will be 13 of these on the tape. The application in the back of the room explains a little bit more about what the tape will be like.
Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce the gentleman here at the front table. He's originally from Winchester, Virginia. He played defensive end for, Sarge, that's your coach there. He played defensive end at Maryland under Coach Jerry Claiborne. He is now coaching defensive backs, and his recruiting area is in this area. Assistant coach at the University of Kentucky, Chip Garber. Chip. I'd also like to mention that on your program, a manager was admitted there inadvertently, Paul Linton. So take note of that, please. At this time, of course, these kids have received all kinds of awards this year. As Muhammad Ali used to say, it's kind of hard to be humble when you're 14 and 0. But you do want to try to keep your feet on the ground, keep your head in the classroom, because I'll guarantee you that's the most important thing in life. And I'm sure Coach Claiborne points that out. This time I'd like to introduce Coach Hillard Howard, in case you have something ahead of this. Coach Howard is, I like to claim he's from the county where I was born, Venture County. And he's from a place called Marlow. Marlow and Mac Roberts used to, where I was from, we used to play dirt football over there. I think that was before Coach Howard started, but I'm a little bit ahead of him. But anyway, I was at the bank here in town. I just started working there. I've been there about a year and a half. That football vacancy came open here at Pikeville High School in 1972. I think it was 72. And some people convinced me that some things had changed around here. And we talked about it. They hired a coach and he left. And my wife and I talked about it. He said, well, I think I'll get back into coaching. So I actually left. A lot of people don't know this, but I left the bank and came back to Banquet High School. Stayed about 2 weeks, got cold feet, decided, hey, I've been this way before, and went back to the bank. Believe it or not, I always claim credit for Coach Howard being where he is now. As Jim Casto said on WDHR one time, I'm sure a lot of you remember Jim Casto, made the statement that the turning point in high school football is Pikeville High School when Gene Davis decided to go back to the bank and Coach Howard became the coach. And that's the long truth of that. Because I think he's done a tremendous job at Pikeville High School. I think you do a tremendous job anywhere coaching football. A good friend of mine, the head football coach at Pikeville High School, Hillard Howard.
Thank you, Gene. I had a few people I wanted to thank this year, but I saw this film and got all fired up, and it makes me forget a lot of things. But really, this tape, you will not believe the time's been put into this, and Mr. Keno Cribbett is one that's responsible for this. I want to thank him for that. And I think when you see the full tape on this, that it's going to be something really, not just spending your money, but something that you would keep and be worth something to you in your later life. But a lot of times when I get down a little bit, I'll go and pick out our Russellville film and kind of look through that, and it really means a lot to me right now. But before we get into some of these awards, I want to thank some of thee people. Jerry McNamee and Kelly Brown, stand up, please. These guys run our Boosters Club. A lot of other people help these guys for their support. Also, a couple of other gentlemen that retired last year or so, but these people were with me when I started coaching in 1972. I really think a lot of these people, and to look on our sidelines and not see these guys around, it really bothers me. But down in the state finals, I look around and I see these familiar faces back again. They got that same old spirit and a big tear in their eye, and it really made me feel good. Dr. Mulligan and Ed Elder. I first started coaching, I think Dr. Mulligan was the year before that, but Ed had two sons that played. They were tremendous football players, and these guys were with me when I started, when it was rough and tough, and we were managing 25, 26 football players, but they're great people, and I think a lot of them. And our assistant coaches, again, I know throughout the year I listed in the paper about these guys doing a lot of the work, and people say, well, that's just what hearsay and what have you, but I'm telling you, I think we had a great football team this year, and I don't think that any coach could be happy with a group of assistant coaches. And I want you to give our assistants another hand and stand up. You people need to come on up front. These guys, I tell you, they're really something. They hog around all year and want all the glory, and then we get a banquet, and they take cold feet and sit in the back. So you guys come on up here in front, please. Stand behind me and give me a little support. I've carried you all year. I tell you what, they coached one football game. That was the first game we played, and I let them coach for a half, and you see what happened. So I took over after that. Real group of assistant coaches. But again, I tell you, I can't tell you how proud I am of these guys. They work extremely hard, and I think the world of all of these people. We argued and fussed a bit. They were so often, but again, we worked well together. We've got a tremendous staff. As we call these guys up, now some of these people were left off the All-State team. If Greg Hackney was not a first-team Courier Journal All-State, then I'm an airplane pilot, as Jenner Williamson would say. But he was left off the Courier Journal All-State team, and some of our other linemen, John Pinson, Jeff Roop, Trey Deskins, and, you know, to go through here and try to single these people out really bothers me, but this is something that has come out. And, you know, throughout the year, we spelled team T-E-A-M, not T-I-E-M. So we felt like this was a team this year, and we did not stress individuals. And I really felt like that was a great part in this team. I know a guy last year kept telling me all year that, you know, these guys played together, and they're going to be a great team. They're going to win a state championship for you. And, you know, nothing makes me any happier. But really, you know, we got some great individuals, there's no question about it, but with some of these players who are not listed, you know, it really bothers me. But I think we were a team this year. We had very few team arguments. If we had a problem, the coaches would leave and leave these guys out on the field, and they'd work it out one way or the other. So I was extremely proud of that, and our senior leadership was tremendous. I'm not going to stay up here all day and take this up, but this team really excites me, and I start talking about it, you start thinking little things that come on, and it just was really a great year. But at this time, we're going to go ahead and recognize these people that were listed All-State by the Courier-Journal. Before we get to that with their flags, the Lexington Herald had an All-State team, and all these guys made the All-State team, and Greg Hackney did make first team in the Lexington Herald, but he missed a couple of games and was left out of that or what have you. But this time, with these guys come up and receive their flag from the Courier-Journal for the All-State team. Bobby Doremus was first team defense All-State, Associated Press and Courier-Journal All-State, All-Area, All-Conference, just a tremendous player, Bobby Doremus. Okay, Greg Hackney was listed second team offense by the Courier-Journal listed on this. This was the Associated Press. So Greg, come up. Greg, your flag is on the way, okay? Tim Honaker was first team Associated Press, second team defense by the Courier-Journal. Timmy led us in tackles as a freshman, and to me, he's a great, great football player. Matt Blair, come up. Matt set a record this year for touchdown passes for us, a great senior leader. Matt was listed second team All-State in the Lexington Herald. He signed to play football with Morehead State University. It's going to be a hard person to replace, Matt Blair. Okay, this person stand up, please. Max Thompson, we went through our grades and academics, trying to stress this a little bit more. Ann Keene feels like grades are important, so we're going to have to start stressing this a little bit. But the person we're extremely proud of, Max Thompson, he had a grade point average of 3.74. Robbie Wright, stand up. In the state finals game, Robbie Wright received a $1,000 scholarship through the Johnny Unitas Scholarship Fund to choose the college of his choice. Nobody will ever realize the importance that Robbie Wright played on our football team, both offense and defense. Great year, Robbie. This next person I felt like was one of the better players in the state of Kentucky, and a person that I've had the privilege of coaching for the past 4 years. He has some brothers coming along, so we'll keep his mommy and daddy around for several years to come. They've done their part in keeping our population up. Chris McNamee, come on up. Chris McNamee was listed as one of the top 5 players in the state of Kentucky. He was first team All-State on defense, second team All-State on offense, both the Courier-Journal and the Lexington Herald and the Associated Press. He's chosen to play football at Eastern Kentucky University. Again, this year it's really been a year that you sit back and look at it, it's been like a dream season, but, you know, we got these seniors and, you know, they say you're going to be strong again next year, and I've tried to go ahead and reap this thing and enjoy this year so much, but you tend to look down the road. But I'll tell you, we got some seniors that we're losing that we just love to death, and I'll tell you, trying to replace people like Robert Thomas, Trey Deskins, Chad Thornsberry, a player that was not listed on the All-State team that, to me, was probably one of the finest football players that we've had here in years. And Chad accepted the role. He was a blocking back for us. And everybody knows that with the type of offense that I run, that our fullbacks very seldom get to run the football. And he accepted the role of being a blocking back. And I guarantee you, for any other team in the state of Kentucky, that he could have been a tailback or what have you. But Chad is a tremendous football player, a player that I think a lot of, and I feel like Chad can play college football. But throughout, these seniors are listed in our book, and I just want to go through these real hurriedly with you, and you guys stand up as we're doing this. Robbie Simpson, defensive end, is just a tremendous player, had a great game at Cumberland. I think most of you remember that. Robbie Wright, our split, hold your applause, please. We'll go through these and we'll give him a big hand. Appreciate that. Robbie Wright, our split end and defensive back, and I think his, you look through the stats, and I think they speak for themselves. Matt Blair, our quarterback, and you know, last year we really debated on this thing with Matt, and you know, you get to looking at it, and you know, Matt, he was a great football player, but I think his maturity this year and the way he's changed and grown up, I think he's going to be a tremendous college football player. And I think with a team that likes to throw the football, that he's going to be a dandy. We very seldom throw it, but with him we tried to throw it a few times. Chad Thornsberry, can't say enough about Chad. Robert Thomas, our tackle. We feel like Robert can play college football right now. He's got good size, good student. Trey Deskins, our center, did an outstanding job for us, and if you had to give an award out for a Purple Heart, it'd have to go to Trey Deskins. He had mono and came back and played 2 weeks after that and did a tremendous job for us, and he got his body in good shape. Noah Kahn, Noah, a steady player, utility player for us, both offense and defense. Chris McNamee. These next three players, Christian Coleman, Max Thompson, Matt Pafanda. These three guys came out this year, and I tell you, we just think the world of these guys. It's first year playing. They came out and took this abuse throughout the year, and I tell you, they're just great persons, and we think a lot of these guys. And I guarantee you, if they'd been out as freshmen or sophomores, that they'd have been definitely started on this team. Tremendous players. Jason Fitzpatrick, one of our backup tackles, and Jody Miller left the Army to come back and play for us because we were kicked to death with. He just broke off an engagement. He's kind of sad right now, so we'll get him back into things. So let's give these guys a big hand. Go back and start trying to replace people like this, and you can see that you do have a chore on your hands trying to do that. But again, we've got fine people, and we would not have these players without you parents. And I tell you, it's been a great year for us and a great year for Pikeville High School. And our administration, Mr. John Waddell, Tom Swartz, our board, just our total community. And I think you got behind us this year, and to look over in the crowd over in Cumberland and the Beechwood and see all that maroon and white running around, it really made me feel good. Matter of fact, I didn't have to put a coat on at Beechwood for a while, but it really made me feel good to look at our fans and see the type of support we had, and then Cumberland 7 or 8 big Greyhounds roll in, and Jimmy Blair and his bus roll in screaming and hollering all the way down. So really made me feel good, and it makes me proud to be a Pikeville Panther. And I tell you, to me, it's the greatest place in the world. And if you want to, look back at some of the season, and I'm not going to go through these with you because we've got a great speaker, and I'm looking forward to hearing Coach Claiborne. But look through our team stats in your program. You can see the records that this team set throughout the year. And I don't think you can say enough about this team. And I'll guarantee you that I've been here. This is 19 years, and this is something that I have enjoyed more than anything that I've had out of coaching. And I'll guarantee you that there's nothing that can match it to me. It's something that I will cherish the rest of my life. But you look through this thing, a team that's averaged over 400 yards a game and giving up less than a touchdown a game and just scoring at will. And I think a point-a-minute offense was a great name, and our defense was vicious. And at times, this was a mean outfit. And I'm just proud to be associated with it. And you don't get around all these players to tell them how much you appreciate that. But when you're in a position like we've been in, I know Coach Larry's been with me since I've started. And we strive for something like this, and it's something that I will always remember. And we would not have this without the parents and players like that we've had this past year. And again, we thank you for that. Now this time, we're going to go ahead and call these people up. We have a plaque. We've got a team plaque that's got listed big dog defense and point-a-minute offense, a color picture, and a plaque that will go to each of our players. Now, all of you can go ahead and boo at the same time if you like, but they keep asking me. I guess I've had 5,000 people ask me, are your state championship rings in yet? They are not, so you guys go ahead and boo on that. I tried to get these back. But we do have a real nice ring that our Board of Education has bought for us that is something super nice, and I'm kind of in a hurry to get that myself. But we do have a nice plaque, and the bank with Kelly Brown, Sergeant Baldwin, the people, they had a picture made up for us, a color picture, and had it put in plastic and what have you, so something they can keep. So at this time, as we call these players off, I'd like for you to come up and take your plaque and take your picture and come right around behind here and go through, because Mr. Mims is filming this for one of our devoted fans, which we appreciate. And we do have one back with us that if he tries to leave, we're going to get real physical with him. So this time we'll go ahead and call these people off, starting out with Robbie Wright. Just hold your applause if you don't mind. We'll go through each class and you give them a big hand. Robbie Wright, Matt Blair, Christian Coleman, Max Thompson, Matt Lafunda, Jason Fitzpatrick, and Jody Miller. These are our seniors. Jody Brown, Virgil Ray, Robert Mims, David Cox, Jimmy Stewart, Parker, Mike McCoy, Donald Bentley, Jeff Root, Kenny Sampson, Brian Lafferty, Aaron Balzer, Kevin Arnold, and Tim McNamee. Their sophomores, Jason Justice, Kim Sanders, Mickey. Thank you, parents, for giving us the opportunity to work with your sons this year. It's been a great year for us, and I know you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Coach Howard's got something.
Sorry about this. I always leave these people off, and I tell you the most important people on our team probably are managers this time. Anthony Keithley, you people come on up and get your plaque and your picture. Anthony Keithley, Suzanne Dameron, Ronnie Ford, Bobby Phillips, and Paul Lenton. And Jason Falls, our video man. Another person I want to recognize that started with us this year that has done a tremendous job for us is our trainer, Tom Smith. We expect Tom to be with us for several years to come. Thank you, Tom.
And what we'll do is we'll let Herbie wants to make a few comments about his, so if he'd come up now, I want to reverse the order just a little. And Herbie wants to make some comments about what he's going to do, and then we'll let Mr. Schwartz make his comments, and then we'll come back and let him present these two things at the same time. So that way we'll just be calling these kids up at one time. Herbie?
Thank you, Gene. You know, it's a great thing to be the state representative from the district that has the #1 team in the state of Kentucky. And I want to thank all you boys for letting me have that pleasure. We all the time bet down at the house, and last October when we were in special session, or we were betting at different things, and I made the wager with Jim LeMaster. I gave him all of the teams in the state of Kentucky in Class A and took Pikeville. cheated him a little bit because I knew what kind of team we had. But on the 25th of January this year, we had our team down to Frankfort, and they came to the House of Representatives. Were honored in the House of Representatives as the #1 team in Class A. Went over to the Senate and received the like recognition over there. I went a little further than that, and I asked the Speaker if he would to allow me to prepare a citation for each individual member of the team, and I'd like to read that citation now. I have one for each member of the team. The House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Kentucky hereby congratulates and applauds each member of the Pikeville team and the managers for your contribution to the Pikeville High School Panthers in winning the 1987 Class A football championship. As a member of the team, you exhibited your willingness to work a little harder to accomplish your goals, and because of this, you've brought great pride and honor upon your school. The Kentucky General Assembly joins Representative Herbie Deskins in saluting the Pikeville High School Panthers, done in Frankfort, Kentucky, this 25th day of January, 1988, signed Don J. Blanford, Speaker of the House. So each one of the members will have
There got notes all over the place. You know, everything came together this year. We not only want to cherish this moment in this past season, but I know you'll want to cherish forever these last few months and today, because it's few and far between that a state championship comes to anybody. And so I know I will, and I know you will too, cherish these days for a long time. It not only takes the coaching staff and the players, they're the main elements, but it takes the community. You people have impressed me for the 12 years that I've been here. I know I say this a lot, but I mean it. And the support that you give your schools in this community, in athletics and academics and anything they endeavor to do, we always bank on our community to come through. And as usual, you came through again. And I just want to echo what Herbie said, and that's when you go downstate somewhere, Pikeville is well represented. Your name is on the map for a lot of different reasons. And of course, this year, because you were the state champions, the only undefeated team in the state of Kentucky. And it makes me feel good to meet with my associates, principals, and people downstate, because the first thing they do is congratulate you on the state championship. And I too want to thank you for giving Pikeville the most outstanding football team in the state. Not only this year, but in the past few years, and hopefully next year too. I can go ahead and say that because I don't coach, and these coaches may fringe a little bit, but with a little bit of luck and a little bit of support, we may be down there again next year. Okay. You know, I think it was Coach Tribbett that coined the phrase, the year of the Panther. The banner there above you recognizes that. It's on everything that you've seen this year. And it has come about to be the year of the Panther, not only in football, but Gee, you stole a little bit of my thunder. I was going to say something about Coach Wallen there, but I will at this time too. You know, we had the best basketball team we've had in about 14 years. And I can say that because these two coaches have no animosity against each other. They help each other. They complement each other. Our whole staff complements each other here in school. And you have to do that in order to have state championship teams. So I compliment Coach Wallen too in his endeavors to build not only the build. I told him the other day he had turned the corner in our basketball program. So we've done well in football. We've done well in basketball. Our academic team was runner-up in the state this year. Our cheerleaders just the other day came back and were runner-up in the state. So truly this has been the year of the Panther. Now I want to read just for a moment what this certificate says. You know, a few years ago you could win anything in the state, and except for the few people around your area, hardly anybody else knew about it. But our State Department is getting more active now. We have a superintendent of public instruction now that I think is more attuned and more abreast of what's happening in Kentucky. Not that the former one or ones that we've had in the past haven't been, but this man has come up through the grassroots. He's been a former coach. He's been a classroom teacher. He's been a principal, superintendent. And he knows what's happening in Eastern Kentucky because he's from Eastern Kentucky. But anyway, this certificate just says from the Kentucky Department of Education, a certificate of appreciation presented to, and then the athlete's name, in recognition of outstanding performance. And down in the lower left-hand corner, it has picture of a few athletes playing different sports, and it says academics plus athletics equal the winning edge. And I think you people have that winning edge. It was Socrates, centuries ago, that said the perfect citizen was a scholar athlete, and I amen that. So Herbie, if you'll come on up and then call yours off, we'll try to hand these out at the same time. Now mine's in alphabetical order. Herbie doesn't have his that way, see? So I'm gonna have to try to find mine as he comes through, so.
Sean Neely. John Pinson. Greg Hackney. Shane Mills. Bobby Doremus. The three managers that came to Frankfurt, Ronnie Ford. Suzanne Dameron. And Snap Phillips.
An hour late, and he kind of bothered me with his lateness. I think he did this at Paintsville or some game, I can't remember. But our team doctor, one that we could not do without, Dr. Mann. A couple other guys that stand too. I tell you, I've eaten a lot of good food in my lifetime, but this year at camp we had a meal that was unbelievable. The guy brought down 100 ribeyes and about 50 fillets and baked potatoes and corn and just something that was fantastic. And two guys I know were responsible for part of this was Frank Justice and Jimmy Blair. I want these two guys to stand up. These people prepared a meal that was unbelievable. I think it was Maggie and Davey and a few of these other people, but it was really great, and our team certainly appreciated it. And everything else that goes this season was great, and without you people, it couldn't have happened. Thank you.
Maybe I'll plug Dr. Mann's ribs while we're at it. He had a friendly wager with him at Kentucky played Georgia in basketball this year, and I won. And the bet was that if I won, he'd let me pick out the breakfast I wanted. He cooks at church about once a month. So I picked out pork chop. My wife won't let me have it at home. And believe it or not, though, it was just yesterday, Saturday, instead of next week, and I was out of town, missed it all, so I'm sorry about that now. This next person I want to introduce is no stranger to Kentucky. He's from Henderson, Kentucky originally. If I say something wrong here, I'm sure he'll correct me on this. You see, I just started out. I was checking him out. He's from Hopkinsville. He might not get up here if I said it. Coach Claiborne graduated from University of Kentucky in 1950, played under a guy that was a pretty fair coach this time, Barry Bryant. He went there in 1946, as I say, graduated in 1950. In fact, he graduated on time. I claim a lot of people don't do that. But Coach Claiborne majored in math. In fact, he excelled in it. And when after he left UK, he coached at Augusta Academy over Virginia. And he won the state championship there in both football and basketball. And that's quite an honor. Back in those days, and I won't say it's easy to do it at that time. It's be practically almost unheard of today. Anyway, Coach Claiborne could go on, and I know you don't want me to go through all this stuff, which I will not do, but he coached at VPI. I was at Kentucky one time watching Kentucky play VPI, and they beat us. And I remember they carried Coach Claiborne off the field, and I said, "There's Coach we need at Kentucky at that time." That was several years ago. He left VPI, went on to Maryland. Very successful tour there. He's been in about 10 bowl games. He was president of the American Football Coaches Association at one time. He's been in Kentucky several years now. He's had 2 bowl teams at our Hall of Fame game. He has a fine staff working with. In fact, I was out there watching him practice Wednesday and Thursday this week. They had 2 great days, and I left. It's rained ever since then, as he says. But anyway, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you now the head football coach at the University of Kentucky, Coach Jerry Claiborne.
first thing I want to do is, you don't have state champions every day. And I think this is, you look at these stats and things that they did during the course of this season, and I think that this is one of the most dominating football teams that has ever won a state championship. When you look at their scores and what they did from the, speaking of that first game, Coach Howard was talking about that the assistant coaches coached it, and the assistant coaches came up, they were making the same statement that Coach Howard coached it. But then from that first game on, really a dominating football team that just breezed through everybody. And I guess one of the best ways to sum it up, I was talking to Coach Barnett down at Russell, and I said, after the game, he said, all they did, Coach, they just whipped us. That's all it was, they whipped us. And I really think that it's a combination of coaching staff, the players, the town, the community, the parents, the administration. And I think everybody ought to just kind of stand up and give everybody a standing ovation for each other. Let's everybody stand up and give everybody a standing ovation. In fact, now I can go home and tell my wife I got a standing ovation. So, but really, I do enjoy getting around groups like this and having an opportunity to visit. I came from Pikeville, Kentucky, and when I went to school there, we had 425 students in the top 5 grades, and we weren't a very big school. Our football team wasn't too good. I went out for it, and we worked real good. We had a losing streak going there one time. We had a victory celebration. We won the coin toss at the end of the ball game. We really kind of struggled, and I was looking at the average 8 yards of carry. Heck, our best play was a forward fumble when we played, and our quarterback, we thought he'd get killed. Our line was so bad, actually our quarterback had to give a fair catch signal to get the snap from center. I mean, it was bad. And I played tailback on that team. I guess I was tailback because every time I got off the bench, the coach told me to get my tail back. But really, we had a great, I know y'all got to run up cheerleaders. We had probably the greatest group of cheerleaders that had to be, because anybody that cheered for our team had to be good. And but we had the skinniest cheerleader, I guess, in existence. She was 6'3", weighed 80 pounds. And she's so skinny, she could actually tread water in a chemistry class in a test tube. She did break her leg, though, in the Thanksgiving game. We used to play on Thanksgiving. It got real cold, and she had on silk stockings at the game, and got a run in the stockings. She fell out and broke her ankle. We had, I had my own cheering section. I came from a family that was talking about the root beer had 6 boys. I mean, I had 9 in my family, 5 girls and 4 boys, and I had my own cheering section. You know, you put 5 girls, my sisters, in one spot, and in a little stadium, and they can make a lot of noise. And they always start out in about the 4th quarter, middle of the 4th quarter, every ball game, they start up this cheer. You know, we want Claiborne. We want Claiborne. I was sitting on the bench over there, so they were, we want Claiborne. And this thing goes on for a long time. About the 8th game of the season, they start up this chant. We want Claiborne. We want Claiborne. And man, the coach turned around and looked at the motions to me. Man, I'd jump up, put that headgear on, and buckle it up, and go up there, and he puts his arm around me and said, go up there and see what they want. I had a tough time, I tell you. Our team, we had a guy about the size of Bud there when he came up here. He looked like he's about that size. We had a guy about that size on our team, and we were playing one team, and boy, they were walking us good. And old Rudy Thomas is his name, and we were just getting beat bad. And our linemen were just taking a terrible beating. And so about the middle of the 3rd quarter, well, Rudy went off the field on the opponent's side. And this opponent's coach, we were behind 50-0 already, and he patted him on the back and said, "Son, you went off on the wrong side of the field." He said, "No, I didn't, Coach. I go over there and put me back in the game." But really, we did upset a team down in Tennessee. We didn't beat them, we upset them. they had a beautiful Tennessee walking horse. And every time they scored, well, this big old Tennessee walking horse would strut around the field. And he died of exhaustion that night. We beat them. They beat us 100-0, and on the last trip we passed out and died. So we upset them. We didn't beat them, but we did upset them. But we you know, in talking about a championship team, we're getting a little bit more on the serious side. Trying to figure out what to talk to a group like this, and I had an essay that I read about, oh gosh, it's been about 20 years ago now. It was written by a scholastic football player, interscholastic football player, in Swampscott, Massachusetts. And this is kind of what a high school senior felt about football. And I wanted to read to you this essay, and then let you know the background of the essay, and then talk about a few things in it. As I have found through experience in football, often referred to as a man maker, is a sport that is strenuous on the mind as well as on the body. We all know how hard it is to keep our mind on the task before us when we are physically fatigued. But in football, it would be disastrous if you didn't. It would be detrimental to the team as well as to the boy himself. The reason is that when a football player is distraught, he is unaware of his opponent's motives. He is thus susceptible to severe injury because he will be hit when his body is not prepared to be hit. Also, it's injurious to the team because a team is similar to a chain in that it is only as strong as its weakest component. When one boy slacks off, he is as good as asking his teammate, who is probably every bit as tired, to do the job of two men. In order to avoid having the previous mention occur, a player must be in top physical condition as well as mental condition. He must always be prepared for the unexpected, and he must be able to adjust to the situation. Thus a boy has to have desire and pride. If he lacks pride, he will not think nothing of letting the opponent get the upper hand on him. If he lacks desire, he will not put in a hard enough effort to get in shape to prevent his opponent from beating him. Desire takes many forms, but it is necessary to be in life as well as football. Without desire, a boy wouldn't want to play football, or he wouldn't want to win. Whenever a person has no desire to win, he has no real purpose or goal in life. When a boy has no desire to play football, he had best not play, because he would see no sense in what he was told to do. Moreover, his heart would not be in his work. I do not profess that football suffices for manhood, or that it is really required in manhood. But I do say that a boy who has been an integral part of a football team and who has earnestly tried his hardest will certainly be a step closer to manhood than the rogue who stands around with nothing to devote himself to except himself. A football player learns quite a few necessary things in life. Among them are to devote yourself wholeheartedly to the task before you, to be able to give yourself in mind, spirit, and body to the cause. Most important, he learns how hard he has to work to be a star later on in life. There is a sign over the locker room door in the field house of West Point which reads, "On these friendly fields are sown the seeds that are harvested in later years." I wholeheartedly agree with the thought of that statement. Now, the thing that really caught my eye on this essay is the headlines of that story in the newspaper was an essay on football written by Scholastic star 8 days before his death in a game. This young man, David Coughlin, died of heat prostration 8 days after he wrote this essay. But his parents thought so much of his feeling for athletics and how much he gained from athletics and being a member of that football team that they requested that this David's essay be published, and it was, and that's what caught my eye. And I really think that this essay has a lot of thought and a lot of things in it, and I just kind of would like to emphasize a few of the points that David Coughlin mentioned in his essay. The first point is pride. Pride. That's one of the greatest languages in our vocabulary. A person must have pride if he is going to be a success in anything. I don't care what you're trying to undertake, where you've been. You got to have pride in yourself, your appearance, pride in your manners, pride in your team, your school, your town, your family. A person has really got to have a great deal of pride in anything that he's with you associated. Walk proud and work hard enough to make that proud walk justified. I know that this Pikeville High School football team had pride. I mean, I watched them play in the state championship game, and you could see the way they went on the field, the way they conducted themselves. They had a great deal of pride. The school had pride. When you went there and listened to the fans, the town of Pikeville had pride. I think they closed it up when they went to the state championship game. I mean, there was a great deal of pride displayed throughout this entire community, the coaching staff, the fans, the players, their families, and you were proud to be state champions. You had to be proud to be and have a lot of pride. The town was proud of the team, the team members, and the coaching staff and the players. I mean, the whole group here. You can tell the way this banquet that you were proud of these people who worked so hard to make this thing successful. And I'll guarantee you, the coaches were very proud of this football team, and I think all of you were very proud to be from Pikeville, Kentucky, and you took a great deal of pride in that. The second point that I like to emphasize is desire. Have a burning desire to be the best. Not second, but the best. A burning desire to excel in anything that you're undertaking will make up for quite a few shortcomings. When a person or a group of people desire something bad enough and then really work as hard and have good leaders around them, such as your coaches here, they're among the very best coaching staff in the whole state. They have faith in themselves and those around them and are willing to work to reach their goals. Nothing is impossible. And I think that this community and this football team and this coaching staff proved that this year. That was proven by this football team because of the way that they went out and played. And I say it's one of the most dominating state championship football teams that has ever won a championship. When you look at their scores and look at their defense and what they did and what they allowed. And it's a truly dominating team, but they had a burning desire to excel. The third point of emphasis is the will to win. The will to win. Go all out to win. Give everything that you have for victory. And I tell you, this group, starting back at their football camp, had to have made a lot of sacrifices and done a lot of things in order to be a winner. Too many people today are shoulder shruggers or fence straddlers. Winning makes no difference to them. That's one of the problems that we have in our country today. I think it's one of the biggest problems we got in our country today. We have too many people that are not willing to pay the price to be winners and have that burning desire to be a winner. There's no question in my mind that you always want to try to strive to be champions. This Pikeville High School football team and their coaching staff, the school, the whole community, had a burning desire to excel, and they had a will to win. Sportsmanship. Give everything you have to win. Go all out in everything that you do. But win with class. And I think this is very, very important. I think we was watching some of those basketball games on the TV, and my wife was saying, you know, that too many times we don't really teach our people how to win. And you ought to win with class, with good sportsmanship. Play the best way you can, but you don't try to humiliate someone after you have defeated them. And believe me, Pikeville High School won with class, and they really beat some people bad. But they won with class, and I think this is a very, very positive thing for this football program, for this community. You make positive statements about your opponent after you've gone out and won the football game. Be good winners. You know, I've been talking about the winners, but really, what about the team that the teams that you beat as you drove for the state championship? Or what about Pikeville High School in past years? You know, there can only be one Class A state football champion. There is only one in the entire state of Kentucky. But those other teams that were trying to be the state champions, they played hard. I'm sure that they had pride. I'm sure they had a desire. I'm sure they had a will to win. I'm sure they were good sportsmen. But they were not Class A state football champions, as was the Pikeville High School football team. But I tell you what, if those people could look themselves in the mirror and they could honestly say to that guy, to that face that they saw in the mirror, I did the very best I could, then they're champions in their own right. We can only have one state champion, but there's a lot of other people who are champions in their own right. And as long as they've got enough character to go all out to give their best, then they are winners in their own right. Now, athletics are fine. There's no question about it. They're great. I think you learn lessons. And on a football field, on the basketball court, or any type of interscholastic athletics you participate in, there are great lessons to be learned there. Lessons that you can't learn in the classroom. When you go into the classroom, it's a one-on-one. It's not a team proposition. The person who gets that A is an individual accomplishment. The ones who get the B's is individual accomplishment. There is no teamwork, mostly in your classroom. So I think that you get a great deal from athletics that you don't get in the classroom. But don't you ever forget that and don't ever lose sight of the first goal in high school is to get your academic work and get your education. Because I'm speaking now to the student athletes, the parents, and everybody, the school administrators, the coaches, because the education that your young people are getting right now, if they are able to go to college, that's a real plus. And they are preparing themselves for a background to do college work in a higher educational level. And then they're going from there into business world. But if they are not fortunate enough to go to college, the education that you're providing them with right now at Pikeville High School is going to carry them through life. It's going to decide what kind of house they live in, what kind of car they drive, what kind of social standing they have, what type of family they raise, what kind of values you've given them. And so the educational system in your city had better be outstanding. And it has been, because you won several. You won one Governor Cup, you came in runner-up this year. You are trying to excel. But the educational side of it is so, so important. And the thing that you got to do, all of you have got to really give guidance to your young people. Too many times we refuse to say no to our young people when no is the best answer. We've got some guys right now that up there we're leading exercise, and they usually give a little saying before they start the exercise. And one that they're emphasizing right now is just say no, and that's the drugs. Drugs and alcohol right now are some of the toughest situations that we have in our country today. I'm talking about from grammar school right on up through our adults. The drugs and alcohol is a tremendous problem. We had better learn how to get our children to say no. The peer pressure is unbelievable with these drugs and with alcohol. There are just so many things that we need to work at. And to me, I think that we've got to put forth the same type of effort, the same type of enthusiasm, pride, desire, will to win, sportsmanship, to be sure that our young people grow up to be champions in life. This state championship is great. It's something you'll remember the rest of your lives. But just be sure that this group of state champions are champions in life when they get out and start working for a living and start being leaders in the community. They had better know how to be leaders. Now, let's make, we talk about the United States of America and this, and we got some problems. But don't you let ever forget that the United States of America is the greatest country in this world today. It is the greatest country in this world today. And the people who were members of this state championship football team in 15 or 20 years will be helping run this country. Let's make sure that we're preparing them to keep the United States of America the greatest country in this world today. Thank you.
In Pikeville, and whenever the NCAA rules allow you to come, we'd like to welcome you back. You too, Chair. This time, we'd like to call on Tom Swartz, Principal, Pikeville High School, to give the benediction. Tom?
Let's all stand together as we close the prayer, please.